Welcome to another edition of Ask Dubey. Thanks for tuning in. This episode is brought to you by Bet365, whatever your bet is. It's never ordinary at Bet365. Download the app and get in on the game. Use the code NATION, Bet365. Must be 19 or older. Now, lots to get into. Obviously, another tough outing for the Oilers at home. That's a 9-1 and an 8-3 in not that much time. Gosh, these games are hard. They're hard to watch. They're hard to be a part of if you're the Oilers, especially at home. It's tough to lose those games, but at least when you're on the road, the fans they're loud and getting after you, and you expect it. But to have those at home, that's got to be tough. And I mean, something's got to change with the whole group. You just watch, and the turnovers and the just disconnection with everybody. It's tough to watch, and you can just see it. There's just bad times in the game. Guys turning pucks over when they're already down 2-0, and just easy plays. Everybody needs to find a way to get on the same page, and it's really been difficult here for the Oilers. I thought they had a pretty good road trip, but this is a tough one. This is a tough one at home, and everybody needs to just start shift by shift playing as five, and it's really down to that's as simple as it gets, because guys are trying to do, everybody cares, everybody's going to try to do as much as they can. They want to get out there, they want to be the difference, but if five guys aren't connected and the communication's not there and everybody's separated, you can see exactly what happens. And it's odd man rushes, rebounds in front, penalties, PK, you name it. It kind of all comes falling apart, and hopefully the Oilers can get this thing back on track. They got the personnel to do it, obviously. They just need to stop shooting themselves in the foot and give their goalies a chance to make some saves, and when they do, then we're going to need our goalies to make some saves for sure. So tough one last night. With that, let's get into the questions. All right, let's kick off the questions here. First one from Danny Harper. If the Oilers do not turn things around, who would be the top contender to succeed Knoblauch as coach? I'm not going to give you an answer on this one. Knoblauch has been to back-to-back Stanley Cup finals and has done a pretty incredible job with this hockey team and has earned himself a much longer leash than this relatively tough stretch that they're going through. And even though this is a tough stretch, they're still in a just fine spot to get on a little streak and be in a playoff spot and then continue on like we all expect them to do. But I can't imagine I'm the only one thinking that there is no chance that Knoblauch is on the hot seat. And correct me if I'm wrong, somebody can send me a message, but certainly not a concern of mine. He has done a very incredible job, and I'm sure everyone's getting a little anxious now, but I'm sure he'll get these guys turned around this year as well. All right, next question here from My Name is Yef. Hashtag Ask Dubey, are the Oilers D-men backing into the crease on rush plays as a system call, or is closing gaps an issue for the team? Also notice the D are not clearing the area near the crease and creating screens. Is this drop-off related to new D coach, overuse of players? Have the other teams learned how to play the Oil? A lot to unpack in that one. We'll start with the gaps. When the team is not playing well and not playing well together as a group of five, it shows in different areas. And gapping up, D-men backing up is one of those things, because in order for D-men to be able to gap and have a good gap, everybody needs to be working together. They need the help from the forwards. So two things happen. One, if the forwards turn it over, if they don't get the puck pass, if they turn it over to blue line and the D-men haven't had an opportunity to follow the play up ice, then they're not going to have that gap. They're going to have no choice but to throw the brakes on, turn back around, and they're not going to have a good gap because they can't match the speed. Now, on the defenseman side of it, if they're being lazy or just not on their toes and following the play up the ice like they should, same thing. If that puck turns over, they're not going to have the speed to be able to keep the gap that they want. Also, if the forwards aren't back pressuring and if everybody's not playing together as in the system where they work together, the D-men aren't necessarily going to feel comfortable holding that gap, because if you play with a really tight gap, you are flirting with the chance of getting beat and having a guy go around you. And if you know you're that last man, that's tougher to do, tougher to commit to than if you know you've got three other guys all working together to have your back. If they do get it by you, you know your other D-man's going to come over, maybe the forward's got the other guy. So all of this stuff kind of works together, and when you start turning pucks over, just making bad passes, turning pucks over, thinking too much, again, going back to that D-man not getting up the ice quick enough, or pucks just turning over and them not having an opportunity to, all these things go into why the gaps aren't good. And they certainly have good enough skaters to have gaps, and there is no system that says that they don't want a D-man to have a gap, so that's not the case at all. Everybody wants to have a good gap as a D-man. And same thing kind of goes with clearing out the crease. It's about getting to spots early. You can't really move guys after they're already there. It's not jungle rules like it used to be, where guys could just abuse somebody in front of the net. And so you have to be able to get there in advance. And so that's something that they can work on. Same type of deal. If there's turnovers and sloppy play, then you don't have that read and that anticipation to be able to get to that spot early to keep a guy from getting there. And then at the end of the day, with the new rules in the NHL, you got to be a little bit careful with boxing guys out anyway. But it's always one or the other. If you're not able to box a guy out, you need to find a way to let your goalie see the puck. And if you can't, and you're that guy in front, well, then unfortunately you really got to try to block it, or it's probably going to be in the back of the net. And I never envy guys who block shots. People say goalies are crazy. I say players are crazy for getting in front of shots. At least we have the gear on for it. They're laying down with a lot of exposed area and are extremely tough to be able to do that. So I think this is just kind of a combination of a lot of things that we're seeing with the team just not really playing together right now. Again, I don't think it's a lack of care or effort. It's just sometimes when you go out there and you really want to go make a difference, it doesn't always work that way. You got to go out there, play as a group of five, change. Next line comes up, does the same thing. It's got to start to roll a little bit and get some momentum for these guys out there. Okay, next question. No surprise, we're getting lots of defense and goalie questions today from Redbeard506. Hashtag Ask Dubey. Do you find that biggest weakness in Skinner's game is his ability to read and anticipate the play? A recent example would be the first goal in the Buffalo game. I feel like that should have been a pretty easy play to read, an easy poke check where he just had to extend his arm to knock the puck away. He seems like he's always behind the 8-ball trying to react to plays. I think that's a stretch to say that he doesn't know how to read and react to plays. I definitely agree with you on the Buffalo goal. I think that when a player is in that tight to you, and you know if you're going to play RVH there, you just got to get your stick active and out. That can be two different ways. You can have on the backhand, you can try to poke it. Obviously, that runs a risk of exposing your 5-hole, or you can just keep it in front of you and just he gets it tucked right in tight to him. You can just hold it out and even follow the guy along. And sometimes, even if you miss the puck that way, as he goes to shoot, sometimes their stick will ramp up yours and they won't even be able to get a shot off. So in that play, definitely, I think that right now it looks like he's behind a little bit, and it looks like he's behind the 8-ball and not reading plays. And a lot of that comes, again, he needs to get his game together, yes. But everybody needs to get their game together as well, and it kind of all has to happen at once. Now, the goalie can help that. Stu can help that by going out and it might just take a few saves, a few out-of-this-world saves to get everybody to take a breath and get back on track. I don't know what it is. You can't think that way because you don't know what that opportunity is going to be, but you just got to go out there and bust your butt and see what happens. But when everybody is playing together and you trust what's going on in front of you, you can feel that. You know what's available, you know what's not available. That allows you to have maybe a couple reads on a play. This guy's either going to shoot or he's going to pass to this guy. Those are my two things that I have to worry about. When things start to go off of the rails and things get a little bit chaotic, all of a sudden it feels like he can shoot, or there feels like there's 10 other guys on the ice that he can pass to. Now I don't really have a read on a play. I'm just purely trying to react because I feel like every option is available. And that's what can happen when there's chaotic play in front of you. Now, again, I'm just saying this and this is how a goalie can feel, which causes us to tighten up and not be able to anticipate a play. If I had two options, it's easy to anticipate. I just sit on this shot and wait, and if he passes, then I turn and go. But if I feel like there's a shot, there's a back door, there's a one-timer up here, and there might be one other play, well, then I don't know. I'm gonna have to sink back a little bit for the back door. I got to get ready to push for this one-timer. Maybe it's making me a little bit flat. Maybe my feet are moving on this shot. Maybe now I get beat by this shot that I normally wouldn't have because I'm thinking of two other things and my feet are moving and all this kind of stuff. So it is a goalie's job to find a way to get over that, but it kind of all works together as a group. And you can see when the group starts to play well, the goalie starts to read and anticipate, he'll be ahead of the play. And you can see, I can see a little bit of that in Stu's play right now where even, some of the great saves that he does make, they're a little bit frantic. And because he's probably, playing a little bit of catch up, feeling like there's four options out there. And then he reacts to that play. And so he's trying to get to it. I'm thinking of the rebound goal against Dallas where he makes a great save, but he's pretty out of control getting over there. Because, again, it's a play that happens that he probably just purely reacted to and didn't anticipate as much. So I definitely don't think it's a weakness in Skinner's game. I think it's exposed when things are getting a little bit chaotic out front. Next question from our good friend Lance Does Stuff Kane. Hashtag Ask Dubey. When fighting through a screen, I see a lot of goalies go low. And in the NHL, I see a lot of goalies stand up. What is the proper way to be battling through a screen? I find if I look side to side, I put too much weight on one of my legs. What is the proper technique for fighting around screens, and what are some drills that can help battle through screens? This is a great question. It is better to stand up if possible. Now, standing up, we're talking about a point shot. You don't necessarily want to be standing up if the guy's in tight or top of the circle and you're fighting through. Reason being is we want to go down into shots, and if we get really low, and sometimes we'll sink our butt a little bit, it's really hard to get down and then go up to shots. If we can go down into saves, that's just going to be more solid. It's going to be easier to explode out on a rebound than if we're down and away and then needing to find a way to come up. Obviously, it covers up high easier if you can see it. And if we get down low, like I said, it's really hard if you get sunk down low and sunk in your hips and something comes through, it's really hard to go chase it up, especially if you're sitting back and your chest is back. And so for me, I was obviously 6'6", so I could look over top of most guys. Even when they were in front of me, I usually could look over top. And so I like to stand up really tall and do this. Now, as far as how do you get this, and one thing you can work on in games is one way you get screened is not getting to your spot early. So when you're working around the crease, that puck goes up to the point. Get to your spot early so you're not trying to find the puck while you're also trying to find your position. If that puck goes up and you're set at the top of your crease where you want to be, now your feet are set and you know where you want to be. And then as everybody starts to come in front of you, you can work around and try to find your lane as best you can, whether that's high, low. Sometimes you do have to get low. Sometimes you have to go a little bit side to side. But yes, I agree with you. You don't want to be fully leaning on one side. You're not gonna be able to move out of it. I'd rather work up and around and just find a lane. But really, the most important part of that, like I said, getting to your spot early. If it goes from the corner up to the point, explode out there and get your spot at the top of the crease and hold it. And if it goes D to D, don't take your time getting over there, because if you're trying to get set at the same time as screens are moving, there's a much better chance that you're going to get screened. Or even if you get screened for a second, your feet aren't going to be set. You're not going to be in the best position to make that save. So explode over, get your feet set, and then do your best to find it. And as far as practicing this stuff, it's like one of those things in practice. It's hard to emulate because when it goes up, if you're doing a 5-on-5 drill and nobody is there's guys in front, and it goes up to the point, the D-men aren't going to rip shots through. Nobody wants to get hit in the ankles. They don't want to hurt guys. And so you're not really going to see that same look as you do in a game. So you can practice it in practice, of course. And then when you have guys just standing in front by themselves, it's good to look around them. You can certainly play with your positioning up, down, however you want to do it. But they're stationary. They're not being pushed around. They're not flying around. It's a little different. And so it's something you want to work on, that skating, that positioning in practice, to get to your spots early and be where you want to be. But really, it's something that you're going to have to focus in a game on to get comfortable with it and be there. But I think that positioning and that set feet and getting to your spot early is going to help you find it. Not only find it, but even if you can't find it, put yourself in a position that you can at least see it enough that you know where it's heading in the net, and you can get yourself in a spot that gives you a good chance of getting in front of it. Okay, guys, that wraps up another episode of Ask Dubey. Thanks again for all the questions. We had lots this week. We'll bank any that we didn't get to, and we'll always have them. We try to get to every question we get, but keep depositing those questions in the bank. Keep them coming. Hashtag Ask Dubey on any social media platform, on Oilers Nation, or drop your question in the comment section below on this video, and we will do our best to get to them. This episode brought to you by our friends at Wilhauk Beef Jerky. Only the finest tasting meat products earn the Wilhauk name. Made from 100% pure Alberta beef, Wilhauk Beef Jerky is aged, seasoned, marinated, and smoked to savory perfection. It is so good. Wilhauk Beef Jerky gladly fills orders of any size. Find their beef jerky, sausage, and other products exclusively out of their Leduc location, or you can order online. Get your jerky on. For more info, go to wilhaukbeefjerky.com.
What's up, Nation citizens? If you like that video, then you need to be subscribed to the Oilers Nation YouTube. Podcasts, live shows, exclusive interviews, and analysis. Everything you need from your favorite voices at Oilers Nation. And you don't want to miss any of it, so hammer that subscribe button.